This conference will now be recorded.
It's 5:30. I'll call the city commission meeting to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Ganger.
Here.
Commissioner Jennings.
Here.
Commissioner Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Mayor Spillman.
Here. At this time, if you so desire, please stand. We ask your blessing on this commission who have been called to lead this community in which we live, work, and play. Help us as leaders to not ask, how do we fix this, but what do we need to learn? How might we need to change, and to whom do we need to listen? Grant us the wisdom and the courage to know and do what is right, good, and true. May we always be guided by the spirit of community, justice, and love. We ask blessings on all of the staff and employees as they perform their tasks for the good of our hometown. We pray this in the name of all that we hold sacred and holy. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Additions or deletions to the agenda? I'm going to be first here. I want it noted that I did not see any applications for any of the boards. I haven't looked at any of those things, so I am trusting the staff that these are the right people for this. Ready?
Mayor, we would like to move item 1 under new business for this meeting, and then added another item under new business for consensus to apply for a base 2 grant.
Need somebody to make a motion here?
And question, what do we take number 1 off?
So we were contacted by a local engineering firm that has some experience with our levy system. We'd like to visit with them
Okay,
before we move forward with this.
okay. So that was just one bid you got, and we're trying to get another bid?
Yeah, we would visit with several
Okay,
groups and but like I said, we weren't aware of the local connection, and we want to just check them out because of the experience they have with our levy system. So.
okay.
Motion to,
I'll make a motion, we add the necessary items as mentioned.
I'll second, go ahead.
been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
What? He's got future discussion.
Okay. Do we have a removal of an item?
Yeah,
No, I'm sorry, add and to remove, I'm sorry, we're adding, making the additions, I will amend my amendment, I make a motion, we approve the additions and the deletion of item number 1. There you go, thank you, Charles.
Second.
Commissioner Jennings.
Now it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Approval of the agenda?
Okay. I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
It is moved, we approve the agenda as amended and seconded. Is there any further discussion? proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Awards and proclamations. None. Recognition of staff, introduction and swearing in of Police Officer Luke Davidson.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. So I have the honor of doing actually two introductions tonight, and we'll start with Luke. Luke Davidson started with the police department on December 19th. Luke successfully completed all the phases of our hiring process, which are quite in-depth, which include written test, interview board, executive interview, an intense background investigation, physical capacity testing, personality testing, drug and alcohol screening, and medical exam. So we do a lot to vet Luke and all the way through all those things. Officer Davidson is an Ark City native who graduated from Ark City High School in 2004 and graduated from Cali College in 2006. Prior to accepting the position as police officer with us, Officer Davidson served the citizens of Ark City in the Parks Department for the city of Arkansas City. And before that, he worked for BNSF Railroad. During the interview process, Officer Davidson was asked to explain the impact we make through community involvement. He said that it shows the city how much we care. It makes the city feel safe and proud. It also creates an image for the police department. We are very excited to welcome Luke into our family at the Ark City Police Department. At this time, I would ask the city clerk to administer the oath of honor to Officer Davidson.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. On my honor,
On my honor,
I will never betray my badge,
I will never betray my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
my character,
or the public trust.
and public trust.
I will always have the courage
I will always have the courage
to hold myself and others
to hold myself and others
accountable for our actions.
accountable for our actions.
I will always uphold the Constitution of the United States
I will always uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Kansas,
and the state of Kansas,
my community,
my community,
and the agency I serve.
and the agency I serve.
Congrats, welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. I hope they're enjoying their curve table.
It's amazing.
That's kind of a long reach, isn't it? Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're really lucky to have you.
Is that a carpenter? Excellent.
That was his last big job before he went back to.
Okay, super.
Introduction of police department's emotional support dog.
Very good. All right. The second introduction tonight. As you probably saw, we posted today about Sal. So we were actually given an opportunity to make a situation better within the police department. One thing that we've always kind of looked toward is how do we increase officer wellness within the department, both mentally and physically. About 3 weeks ago, the world observed a critical incident right on TV during Monday Night Football. If you had an opportunity to see that, it was very moving. You could see the emotion that were on the players' faces because they'd obviously not experienced those kind of things before. I think that what we take away from that is that critical incidents is what we as first responders do as our job. And so we have those same emotions that we go through. We just know that we have a job to do when we respond to those critical incidents. So those things kind of build up over time. So how Sal comes into this equation, Lieutenant Legleiter and Officer Corey Tuxhorn, who's our crisis intervention officer, came to me with a proposition to say, hey, we would like to explore having a therapy dog or an emotional support dog for the police department. And Jamie Lavelle, who is our co-responder through Fort County Mental Health, basically was able to identify an English bulldog who was a puppy at the time, and it was a perfect fit. I don't know how I could say no, especially to an English bulldog because we're Ark City Bulldogs through and through. And so we went ahead and dove into that program. And so Sal is eight months old at this point, and you can see how big he is at 8 months old, and he's not done growing. But at this point, so Sal's been with us in the police department. We really haven't taken him outside the department much. He's just been kind of running around. He gets the zoomies, and it's, for us, it's stress relief. There are times where we can just take just a few minutes and give him a belly scratch, and it just puts us in a better frame of mind. And it's something that's sorely needed for our department and probably any department when it comes to first response. Coming up very quickly in February, we'll be sending him off to about a month's worth of training. So he'll get some obedience training. And so he's not so well behaved right now. But that's one of the important things. So moving forward, the plans that we have for him, first and foremost, he's going to be our support. So support for first responders, the police department, fire departments, and anybody in the area. So, and this is not just a one type program, because Captain Ryder recently went through a CPM, Certified Public Manager course. And his capstone project was a chaplain program. So we're going to explore that, bringing in a chaplain program to enhance officer wellness as well. But we're also working with partners in Winfield and other first responders for a peer support program. So it's not just a one tier, we have a therapy dog. We're looking at chaplains, we're looking at peer support, because in essence, what we want to do is we want to retain the officers that we have. And we want to extend them, and we want to keep them until they retire. So it's one of those things, we want to hire them and we want to see them to retire. And so we got to fill in the gaps in the middle and make sure that they're okay as they go through this career, because there's a lot that we see, there's a lot that we experience through all of this. So Sal's badge number is going to be 988, which, as you know, is the suicide and crisis lifeline number. So anywhere he goes, we'll end up probably getting him maybe a football jersey with the name Sal and 988 on it. So that way it'll be a constant reminder of that there are resources out there for people who are in crisis. And so moving forward, you know that we have the Hope Squad program that we've been able to start at the Ark City Middle School, Ark City High School, and Cali College. Sal's going to be a part of that. It's just going to be a fantastic thing to bring Sal into those Hope Squad meetings for our Hope Squad members who are also learning about mental health and mental health crisis. On top of that, we'll have school visits. So obviously, because he's an English Bulldog, he's going to fit in perfectly at the Ark City High School. We foresee sporting events that we could have him at sporting events, socializing, especially with the students. We have a vision at some point, maybe we can have Sal lead the football team out onto the field. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. And then on top of that, our outreach events that we always do, National Night Out, Dare Camp, Pop in the Park, any type of those kind of outreach programs, we'll be able to utilize Sal to build rapport with people, because people are going to be drawn to him. And so we may even rebrand our Popsicle Patrol and call it Pupsicle Patrol. So, you know, we'll see. But there are other community events that we'll be able to be involved in, like Takalala, Last Run, and Arkalala. So there's a lot of things that that Sal, as the therapy dog for the police department, is also going to be a resource for the community as well. So we're just really excited about this particular program. We're excited that he's going to get off to training and probably learn some obedience things. But I know that when he is not at the police department, we really feel that his presence is missed. Because we love, you know, hearing the occasional bark and then him coming into our offices and us being able to give him some attention. And it just really puts us in a better frame of mind as a result. So.
One question.
Sure.
Is there going to be a specific officer that goes through the training with him?
Yes, so Corey Tuxhorn will be the primary handler. So there's going to be part of the training where she'll go and do some bonding activities with him as well. So, and it opens the door for her as crisis intervention officer to be able to take Sal to do mental health follow-ups in the community. So there's going to be times where someone who may have been in crisis previously, and it's somebody that we're following up with, that she'll be able to use Sal as especially an icebreaker and build rapport with that individual. So thank you all very much. And he is here. So if you
I want to
wanna see
stand
him
up. I want to see him.
here we go.
He's worn himself out. Come on, buddy. When he's done, he's done.
He's done. He's done.
Yeah.
He's not trained,
Welcome.
so it's.
Welcome, Sal. We appreciate you.
Awesome.
Only 8 months old.
Wow. He's gonna learn when he gets a little bigger.
He makes them.
Yes, the pattern personality.
What would you do? How big will he get? His dad is like 75 pounds.
Wow.
Well, but not really much taller, just a lot
My
wider.
dog's on me, don't you?
Yeah. He was about 40 pounds, but that was 5 weeks ago, so he's probably a bit more. Come here.
Want to go lay down, don't you?
Hard. Worked hard today.
Don't you just feel better?
I feel better. I feel
You
better.
want me to come down there?
I get to play football. Yeah.
Awesome. Because he might get to play football.
I think so.
Aw, so,
Didn't take him long to.
Twice as wide.
Oh, is he English?
Take long to grow on his feet.
Yeah.
Aw.
I'm glad to send him over for his picture.
Re-hunting.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll figure that out. We're supposed to do that.
Just,
Well, whenever. I mean,
morbidly obese when I got him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like this.
that'd be included.
and they come to see,
Aw, that's sweet.
Bulldog.
Relationship.
Uh-huh.
He's like, all right, you don't look like you feel like walking.
Yeah.
Just lay down.
That's what Sal does
Yeah,
sometimes. Oh,
Leslie,
I see him all the
I'm
time.
gonna leave you out.
read the consent agenda for us, please.
That's a handsome dog there.
We
Done a
have
lot.
item 1.
He's not that little big.
Appointment of Lloyd Colston to the Planning Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals, Boss Fart and Tom Wheatley to the Historic Preservation Board, Brandon Jellings to the Planning Commission, Felipe Escalante, to the Northwest Community Center Advisory Board, Mitch Richley and Latricia Slopes to the Arkansas City Public Library, Pam Crane and Tony Green to the Outstanding Student Award Committee, Kim Hager and Tammy Landman Henderson to the Community Spirit Award Committee, Charles Tweedy to the Public Building Commission, and then it also is approved the January 3rd, 2023 regular meeting minutes as written.
And on those minutes, we did have a mistake on those minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, we should have got that.
it's number 9. Commissioner Warren was appointed to the Cherokee Strip Land Rush Museum Board of Trustees,
Okay.
not Jennings.
Okay. I will get that corrected.
I would make a motion, we approve the consent agenda with the corrected item.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the consent agenda with the corrected item. Any discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
New business?
Okay, consensus to apply for a phase 2 grant.
What?
That was added.
We deleted that.
No,
That was the one we're gonna add.
that was the one we added.
So, yeah, so it'd be a consensus to apply for the phase two economic development grant.
Okay.
Rosemary,
You did say add that as item 1, correct? I'm sorry. Okay.
5.
however you guys want to do it, yeah.
It's on one, we'll go with it.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commission, Rosemary Saunders and Crystal Hannon from Ransom Financial. We met with you guys at the work session last Friday and we discussed the possibility of the city applying for a base 2.0 grant. This is money that came back from the Spark Committee ARPA funds in that the state received. And what we would like to have is approval from the commission to apply for these fundings for the area that was the Forest Glen 2 addition that we talked about, those 32 lots to build single-family homes and put in the infrastructure for those to help alleviate the housing shortage that the city is currently experiencing. And then also apply for the median income household application, which we would use as match money to the base 2.0 grant. And that would allow for down payment assistance for the home buyers. And that's so.
And what range housing would that be?
I believe we talked 165 to
Probably a little higher than that now. It's gonna,
200 and maybe 15,000, maybe somewhere in that vicinity. The state is looking at what they're calling larger economies of scale applications. Some of the previous applications that they've had a limit on what they could apply for funding for. But in order to try to meet the housing need, they have opened that up. And that's why we're looking at the Forest Glen 2 addition.
And you have to have it plotted and everything done before you apply for it, right?
You don't have to have it platted. We could get that completed. And we did talk with Josh about getting that done. And he didn't seem to think that would take a super long time to get that completed.
We do have the initial net map, so if it doesn't get done, this is what we'll send in. So they have an idea.
Yeah.
The base point 2.0 application is due January 31st, so it will be a quick turnaround. And then shortly after that, on February 17th, is when the MIH application will be due.
This is where Chad used to live.
What was your first deadline?
Crystal.
What was your first deadline?
Oh, deadline, January 31st, so at the end of the month.
About the drain off, right?
Yeah, for phase 2.0, they have set aside $50 million in this pot of money. So, which is quite a bit larger than their first round.
Will this solve the drainage problem that they were having on the Forest Glen? Remember I showed you where the road was tearing up? Will that solve with the different or more infrastructure? Will that help?
well, definitely we'd have to keep that in designing the plat or doing the plat work and stuff. We have to keep that in mind and make sure that we addressed as much.
Was that coming from the south onto Forest Glen? Or was it coming from the
What
west?
I recall was the problem was down on Key Largo is what I recall the conversation being. That's it, coming from Forest Glen to Key Largo. And I know Chris Mining had come up with maybe some possible solutions. One of those being our guys going and cleaning out some ditches and culverts. So that's on their list of things to do, so.
Okay. And then the other thing, since the city does not own that property, right? Part of the acquisition of that property, we can ask for in this application. So I understand you have a first right of refusal option.
Well, we have a purchase option
Okay.
from ACI, and I talked to them and they're agreeable to.
Okay.
work with us on this.
As long as, that's all ties in together. And so I know this is moving at a fairly fast pace, but when the state only gives you 30 days to pull an application together, and we do have cost estimates from Smith and Oaks on the infrastructure, and obviously we have a plat here and we can overlay water sewer on that also to show them that this is a shovel-ready project. And that's what they're looking for.
I don't have any wording.
Yeah.
We don't have any wording.
Oh, I guess we just need a consensus to proceed with the grant application for the base 2.
And the MIH applications.
Yeah.
Does that need to be in a motion, Larry? Or?
I would appreciate it if you would, please.
Well, I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we apply for a grant for the Base 2 grant and an MIA.
H.
H. That stands for medium income housing or moderate income housing.
Is there any further discussion?
Do you have a second on that? Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Drive safe.
Okay, thank you.
Leslie, did you get the second?
Yes, I have Jennings.
Okay, we're gonna make sure.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Item 2.
An ordinance annexing, incorporating within and adding territory to the city of New York City, Cali County, Kansas, a municipal corporation in conformity with the provisions of KSA 12-520 and all acts amendatory thereof or supplemental thereto.
Creekstone, of course, you're probably familiar with, is trying to develop a daycare facility at 300 Goff, which is basically right next door to our water tower, just off to the east of the Creekstone. I wanted to pull up this map just so you can see the area we're talking about. It's not super easy to see on there. But in there, it's the purple outlined areas is what we're talking about as being the area that's proposed to be annexed. This was taken before the Planning Commission in December, and they did vote to recommend that you go ahead and proceed with annexation of this property. This is consent. It's not the city trying to annex this property. They are wanting to come in. So.
It's a good location for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
very close to.
serves the business well.
Does anyone know if are they gonna open it up to others also, or is it just for Creekstone?
My understanding is it's only Creekstone employees
Yeah.
that will be able to use it. That was what the representative at the Planning Commission meeting said. The good thing about that, though, and he kind of described that, is that could open up other spots in some of the other daycare.
Yeah.
So effectively still work that same way.
Main thing, they're trying to hold their employees, keep them here, instead of rotating around. When they get them trained, that they move on and hopefully this daycare you'll keep them here.
The Planning Commission approved it unanimously, correct? I mean, I'd like to, there's not a lot of discussion. I think the building's vacant right now anyways. It's gonna go into the city. It's gonna become part of the city and it's gonna help a local business out, which in turn theoretically should help the other daycares in our community. So I would like to make a motion that we approve an ordinance annexing, incorporating within and adding territory to the city of Arkansas City, Cali County, Kansas, a municipal corporation in conformity with the provisions of KSA 12-520 and all acts amendatory thereof or supplemental thereto. So do I need to put the location, or is that?
That's the title of the ordinance.
Yeah, so.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Have some discussion here.
Well, it's been before the Planning Commission. It has been this progressive trend of thought with most towns operations or industrial operations. I think most recently in a quaint community quite similar to Arkansas City, Coffeyville, Kansas probably is the last one to have done it. Ponca City done it with the groundwater problem there. Coffeyville done it with the flooding and the environmental leak there. The acquisition of a green belt around the facility at a perimeter that creates a safety place in the event of an environmental release or any other catastrophe like a major fire or explosion. I do want, so I see that as antithetical to put a daycare right across the street from an industrial site. That kind of scares me if something goes wrong. Just want that to be on record.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. That is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Gager,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jennings,
Nay.
Commissioner Rogers,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Spillman.
Yes. Item number 3.
I don't even know where I'm at. An ordinance authorizing the rezoning of 300 Gulf Industrial Park Road from R1 Low Density Residential District to C3 General Commercial District.
Okay, these next two items, of course, are tied into the last item. When property is brought into the city, it comes in automatically as the R1 low density residential, which is obviously not appropriate for a daycare center. According to our zoning, probably the best one is a C3 general commercial, so that's why that was suggested. And that seems to kind of go in line with that neighborhood. The future land use map actually has some commercial in that general area too. It was developed as part of the US 77 corridor plan. So there is actually intended to be some commercial in this general area. The Planning Commission in December did recommend that this be approved for the switch from R1 to C3.
Question is the tax base, is that going to change? Or are they getting it basically tax-free, or will they be paying regular commercial taxes on that land?
I can't honestly answer that. I would assume that would be a commercial rated property.
I would assume so. It's part of their complex, so.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay.
So I make a motion authorizing the rezoning of 300 Gulf Industrial Park Road from R1 Residential Single Family District to C3 General Commercial District.
I will second that.
Been moved and seconded that we authorize the rezoning of 300 Gulf Industrial Park Road from R1 Low Density Residential District to C3 General Commercial District. Any further discussion?
And again, for clarity, if I'm reading my agenda correctly, this is to facilitate the establishment or construction of a daycare facility. So I restate my concern for the safety consideration of an aggregate of children in a location so close to an industrial environment. Just want to voice that again of record.
I might say too that the Creekstone, I think the way they were looking at it is that their kids are close there where their parents can take them. Most of them live right across the street, those apartments and stuff. So it's a close area for them to go back and forth where they don't have to do a lot of driving and stuff. So I just want to clarify that.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. Roll call.
Commissioner Gager,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jennings,
Nay.
Commissioner Rogers,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Spillman.
Yes. Number 4.
An ordinance authorizing the rezoning of 26865 61st Road from R1 Low Density Residential District to I2 Heavy Industrial District.
So this is the property that's north of the daycare facility. Today, it has the truck gate.
East entrance area.
East entrance to the plant, basically, is what that all is. So that's already an existing use. Nothing's going to change there. But in order for a use like that to be there, it really should be industrial zoning. And I2 is chosen because the rest of the Creekstone plant is I2. My assumption is that they will probably try to combine this property with the other property. The daycare will be a separate property because of the way they're structured. And again, this was brought before the Planning Commission in December, and they did recommend approval of this request. I'm sorry? The same, if you could pull up that same page again. That's just that property where it kind of angles out and you see the trailer park there. That image.
Is that going to stop parking on that road? Apparently not.
Theoretically, it should, but they're still packed. I mean, they're busy. That east entrance is.
Well, I think the operation is a little different there. Like the cattle trucks is what the problem is. So that's the finished good trucks that are parked there. Those trailers are. If I'm understanding their operations correctly.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve an ordinance authorizing the rezoning of 26865 61st Road. Does that say R1? Am I on the right one? Does that say- Yeah.
They're both R1.
Yeah, R1 to I2.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we authorize the rezoning of 26865 61st Road from R2 to I2. Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor, I want to go on record again, voicing the same concern, the proximity of a facility for the care of children to an industrial site still concerns me. Just want to voice it.
Yeah.
I respect you all in your decision, don't get me wrong, but.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Roll call.
Commissioner Gayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Nay.
Commissioner Rogers,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Skelly.
Yes. Items to be brought up by the commissioners. And I do have something. Leslie, I'd like you to read this for us. I received this letter from the Planning Commission. I'd like it for it to be on record that we received it and what they had to say.
Honorable City Commissioners, we believe that it our duty to formally advise the commission as to an issue that arose at our last Planning Commission meeting, January 10th. During the course of public comments on this year's city comprehensive plan review, some citizens voiced their concern over the possible sale of city property you addressed last week in your session. Surprise was expressed by those present as to a possible city purchase of said property. The Planning Commission was also surprised to learn of this as well. We planned that we had no knowledge of this proposal and could not offer any information as to its progress by the city. We are somewhat admonished by a citizen, right? That's not it? By a citizen who wanted to know the originator of this proposed action, as it wasn't the Planning Commission. All planning commissioners were present for this meeting. All seemed frustrated that this possible sale clearly deviates from written comprehensive plans of 2002, 2013, and our 2022 updates as outlined in Land Use Road Chapter 8.4 and 8.5. If changes or priorities are to proceed with potential growth area as noted in Chapter 8.8, then the Planning Commission must be made aware to better inform the residents of Arkansas City. Public awareness is recommended to proceed. As a minimum, we feel that all land purchases or sales by the city need a public forum to discuss costs and use tax revenues. Sincerely, Planning Commissioners Ian Kuhn, Chairman, Tom Wheatley, Vice Chairman.
Thank you. I just wanted all of the commissioners to,
Did all the planning commissions, were they aware of that letter?
I've not seen these letters. It's the first time I've ever read it, so I don't know.
It says it's just from the two of them. Is
just
that right?
So is it a letter from the entire planning commission or just planning commission members?
It says Planning Commissioners Ian Kuhn, Chairman, Tom Wheatley, Vice Chairman.
I assume it's the whole planning commission.
Cody, were you aware of it?
I was not aware of it.
And you were at the meeting?
I was at the meeting.
All right. Okay, sounds good.
Any other items to be discussed with city commissioners?
I have a couple, if you don't have a couple items to remind you all of before the meeting.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, can I speak for just a moment?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I'd like to take the time to officially acknowledge Mayor Spillman for her attendance at the celebration of unity. We appreciate your excellent greeting and supportive words of the effort to bring the people of the community together in a unifying presence. We were certainly glad that you were there. I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Warren for his heartfelt oration in support of the inaugural Bruce Watson Cali College Community Vision Award. Your words actually kind of encapsulated in about 2 minutes how big his heart was in embracing it was, as well as how personally special he was to you. And I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Ginger for her constant support and attendance and bringing her friends. I do apologize to Commissioner Rogers for not having reached out and contacted you and encouraged you to come and made you aware of the date. I know that you're a busy man and I needed to get that in front of you much sooner, but we know that there aren't things that I do in the community. There are not things that I do in the community that you don't support in some fashion or other, but I am proud to be a part of this august body in your support overall of that program and that project, the celebration of unity in honor of the slain civil rights leader, the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Citizens should be proud of you also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to speak before I go to the audience?
Yeah, that'd be fine. I just want to do a few reminders real quick. Tomorrow night is the Fentanyl Town Hall at Baden Square in Winfield. It starts at 5:30. On January 25th is the League of Municipalities and also the county government's local government day at Topeka. So if anybody wants to go to that, let me know. The data walk for is going to be the 31st. It's from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at Brown Center. And that's the data walk that has all the information on, the poverty, the hunger issues, housing and those types of things. So I want to encourage everybody to attend that. The annual chamber banquet is February 4th at the Agribusiness Building. That's from 5 to 9. So I did get you registered, so you're ready to go. So if any of the rest of you want to attend, let me know and we'll get you registered. Then tomorrow, we're moving forward with the rate studies that we talked about earlier. So we do have a meeting with Ranson to discuss the sanitation and stormwater rates, look at that, see where we're at on that. And then Monday on the 23rd, we are going to have our pre-construction meeting to start the alley, the sewer and alley over here. So we'll have hopefully a lot better schedule when that's going to start and things after Monday. So just want to update you on those things.
I got a question on a hike and bike trail. When is that supposed to begin?
So it's right now, it's kind of scheduled for March timeframe. So hopefully it doesn't get rescheduled again. I know Chris Minen sent in some updates today on some planning issues there. So hopefully they have everything they need now. We can continue on with that bid letting in March. So.
Have anybody signed up to speak? Okay. It says here we're supposed to have a financial summary.
It's just for your information. It's in the packet.
Okay.
What's the timing of that?
Jay likes this part.
25th?
Motion we adjourn.
I'll second.
It'll be kind of an all day deal, because it starts around 2 o'clock or so for the events that went on there, and then we'll have a reception at the end.
So it's a midday to evening type thing?
Yeah. And
It is the one day, right?
yeah, just the one day.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah, I had